Hey guys, Rich Morgan again, Magic Touch Mechanical and the Fireplace by Magic Touch out in Mesa, Arizona. Um, Another video. This is actually part two in the series about gas fireplaces that are not turning on or won't stay lit. This is the video format version of our most recent blog article that's called Gas Fireplace Not Turning On. Um, in part one, I talked about gas fireplaces that won't stay lit, and I gave some specific instructions with regards to how you could possibly fix that situation yourself. This video, part two, is talking about other common reasons that a gas fireplace won't turn on. We cover again some of the stuff we covered in part one, but I wanted to talk about some of the other things that aren't associated with what we discussed in part one. So I've kind of listed 8 of the most common reasons that fireplaces won't turn on, and this article is found on our blog. The website is airconditioningarizona.com. Just click on the blog in the menu, or you can do airconditioningarizona.com/blog. All of our articles are listed in chronological order, and this is actually the most recent one we've posted. I just posted it yesterday, so October 15th, and just look for an article named Gas Fireplace Not Turning On. So I'm going to start out just kind of perusing the article, and then I'll get a little deeper into each section of it. I'm going to try to kind of burn through it a little bit, so this isn't an incredibly long video, and you can kind of link back to the article and then take your time looking at the specifics. So there are basically 8 common reasons that a gas fireplace won't start, and I have them listed here. So the first one is a blocked or closed vent system. The second one is a bad fireplace blower motor that applies to a specific type of fireplace, which we'll talk a little bit about. The third is a gas valve failure or a gas valve malfunction. The fourth would be electrical issues. The fifth would be something easy, dead remote control batteries, but there is something, we'll dig a little deeper into that people don't realize when they try to change their batteries in the remote control, and they're unsuccessful, so we'll dive into that a little bit more. The next one is fuel delivery issues, be it natural gas or propane. We'll talk a bit about that. The next one is a safety device. There are multiple types of safety devices that it's actually doing its job and it's preventing operation of the fireplace because there's a problem. So we'll go over a couple of those, and then the last one is a faulty ignition system, which we kind of cover partly in the first video, but there are other parts of the ignition system that can fail or be troublesome that can all cause the same thing. So one by one, let's jump in and talk about a couple of these. So the first one, it was blocked or closed vent system. So there's 4 types of gas fireplace venting systems. I've written articles about those as well too. There's one on our blog called 4 Types of Gas Fireplace Venting Systems. So guess what that's about. But this blocked or closed venting system in this, when your fireplace won't turn on, really usually boils down to one of 2 types of the venting systems. The first one is a direct vent fireplace, and the second one is a natural draft, also called a B-vent fireplace. A direct vent fireplace, which is probably one of the most common types of fireplaces found here in Phoenix, has 2 pipes basically. One pipe brings in fresh air for combustion, and the other pipe exhausts the byproduct of the combustion process, the harmful gases, brings them out of the house. If either of those pipes are blocked or clogged, it will prevent the fireplace from turning on. So over the years, we've seen wasp nests, bees, honeycombs, other flying insects that bring in leaves and everything to create nests. We've also seen termination caps that are missing bird screens, and birds love to nest inside of flues and chimneys and such. Um, and any of those things, preventing either oxygen, fresh air from getting to the fireplace, or preventing exhaust air from escaping, is going to cause your fireplace not to work. Um, the other type is a B vent or a natural draft vent, and while we don't see dampers in direct vent systems, or if there is, there should not be, we do still sometimes see them in B vents. And codes have changed. Phoenix and nearby cities, most local codes won't even allow a damper in a chimney that's for a gas fireplace, or they'll require a clamp type device that holds the damper open. Um, in certain setups, if the damper is closed or there's a blockage in a B vent, it can also prevent the fireplace from lighting. So those two things are two things that are leading causes of why your fireplace might not light. Recently, very recently, we had a customer that had a very interesting issue, something that was kind of rare to see, and it took us a while to figure out what was going on. They had two problems. The first problem was easily detectable, right? It was a problem with the ignition system, and simply by measuring using our meter, we could determine what that problem was. The second problem was a little bit different, and it was in fact a venting issue, but it had to do with a disconnected or a separation of the vent. It took us several hours and the use of a borescope camera or a snake camera that actually goes into the flue, into the venting, to determine what happened. But basically, when the homeowners bought the house about a year and a half ago, the home inspector told them that the house was settling. There was a huge crack in the wall on the interior, and they had it fixed. And it turns out it appeared again several months later. And that's because it was more than just a superficial crack. It was actually from the home settling. And what we determined was that the venting had actually disconnected inside from the house settling. It was on the same wall right next to the fireplace. And their fireplace wouldn't light because of this separation, because the fireplace could not bring in fresh air and could not exhaust properly. So a rare one, but things like this can happen. All right, so moving on. A bad motor. So this is typically only has to do with what we call another type of venting system that's called a powered vent or a power vent. And just as it sounds, the fan motor, a powered fan motor, actually is inline in the venting system, and it's to help remove the harmful gases. If that fan stops operating, it will prevent the fireplace from operating because it can't exhaust properly. This is a little different from a circulation fan inside of a fireplace. Most fireplaces can operate with or without a circulation fan. This is a different thing. This is for a powered vent system. Next thing on the list is our fireplace gas valve not opening, or it's not igniting the burners. So as the name implies, it's a valve. It's just like a garden hose, except it's controlling the flow of gas. So you turn on your valve at your water hose, and water starts to flow down the hose, and you do your thing, right? Same thing with a gas valve. It's basically allowing the flow of gas into the burners to ignite to start. So if there's any issues with that gas valve, then it's not going to allow gas to flow through, and that will cause, obviously, the fireplace not to light. Another reason is electrical issues. Some gas fireplaces require line voltage, their own circuit to operate. Others might just use a wall switch to operate what's known as a millivolt gas valve. But any issues, any disruption in electrical power supply or wiring or a bad switch or anything like that in either of these two types will prevent the fireplace from lighting. Next one is something that's pretty common, something you could check yourself first, is if your fireplace is operated by a remote control. It could have dead batteries. Now, what most people get wrong is, you have the handheld portion of your remote, and that has batteries in it, usually AA's, AAA's, or sometimes a 9 volt. Just like your TV remote, most people assume, okay, I changed the batteries, it still doesn't work, it's not the remote. Different than your TV, which gets its power from line voltage, obviously. The fireplace remote control works on a receiver that's connected to the gas valve. This is a little box, a little infrared box that gets the signal from the remote control, and it's most often located inside the firebox itself. If there's anything blocking it, obviously it's not going to get its signal. But also what a lot of people don't realize is that that receiver also has batteries, usually C batteries or D batteries. And if those batteries are bad, it doesn't matter if you changed out the batteries in your handheld remote, it's still not going to work. It needs both of them. So if you have a fireplace remote and you need to change your batteries, make sure you change them both in the handheld portion as well as the receiver in the firebox. So our next reason for a gas fireplace not turning on is fuel delivery issues. This should go without saying, but believe it or not, sometimes people don't realize that they have either turned the gas off at their key valve and didn't turn it back on, have not relit the pilot light, or I have seen where we have a propane operated fireplace and the people remember after we get there that there's no propane. So we actually ask the question now when we're booking the call, are you sure there's propane in your tank? Have you gotten a delivery this year? That kind of thing. So anything that's preventing the fuel from flowing to your fireplace, obviously a gas fireplace can't operate if natural gas or propane isn't being delivered to the appliance itself. The next to last one reason your gas fireplace won't work is a safety device is doing its job. So I give a couple of examples in this article. Again, if you want to read this full article, go to airconditioningarizona.com, go to our blog, it's by date, and you'll see multiple articles talking about gas fireplace won't turn on or gas fireplace won't stay lit. They both have a little different information in them, and the one I'm discussing right now is the one that's called gas fireplace will not turn on. So let's talk about safety devices. I listed a couple. There's many more, but I listed a couple. The last type of venting system of the 4 venting systems we haven't discussed yet is actually called vent-free or ventless. These actually don't require a vent pipe, and they take their oxygen from the room in order to feed the combustion process, the fire itself. Anything that we install ventless is going to have what's called an ODS or an oxygen depletion sensor in it. And basically what this is for is if the oxygen level in the room gets too low, it's going to prevent the fireplace from operating. We don't want to pull oxygen out of the room that's taking away from the oxygen of the people and the pets living there, right? So it's obviously pretty rare that that's going to happen, but this is just a safety device. And so if you have a vent-free fireplace and it's not operating, it very well may be the ODS working or malfunctioning. We talked about dampers a little bit before in B vents. A lot of fireplaces are equipped with a damper safety switch, and basically it prevents the fireplace from turning on if the damper is closed. This switch can also fail. They're fairly sensitive, or it can be out of adjustment, where even if your damper is open, it thinks it's not. And so sometimes either adjustment or replacement of the damper safety switches in order to get the fireplace working again. Um, the last safety device is something we talked about in the video part 1, and that is a bad thermocouple or a bad thermopile. Check out our other video on gas fireplace won't stay lit, for a do-it-yourselfer fix on how to repair that yourself. And if that doesn't work, obviously then refer back to this article. And if you're in Phoenix, just give Magic Touch Mechanical a call, the Fireplace by Magic Touch, and we'll get you all fixed up. I have one more thing in here, and that is a faulty ignition system. And the thermocouple and the thermopile are a part of the ignition system, but they're not the complete ignition system. So there are other parts of an ignition system that can cause a fireplace not to light. If it's not that thermocouple, thermopile, this is not something that anybody that's not very experienced and skilled with fireplace and fire pits wants to tackle themselves. You can cause some serious damage by messing around with trying to repair or replace an ignition system in a fireplace or fire pit without previous knowledge. So that about wraps it up with the 8 reasons your fireplace may not light or stay lit. Thank you for watching. Again, if you want to kind of read deeper into this stuff, go to our website, airconditioningarizona.com. And if you just want to hire a professional to come look at your fireplace, maybe you want to do some upgrades, maybe you want to install a new fireplace, we can help you with all of that. And you can call us directly at 480-500-6778. Or again, you can go to our website. And another website we own is fireplacesarizona.com, which might be easy to remember. So thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time.